Yeah, I look like a boy today, so
Hey, I mean, my hair's always up too. We chillin'.
we chillin'.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. It's our favorite season.
Woo.
Today's the 30th, so tomorrow is Halloween. But
Yeah, because we are
Chris,
recording a day before. But hey, happy Halloween,
happy Halloweener.
everybody. It's gonna be
And
fun
I'm
tomorrow.
Kara.
Oh yeah, I'm Chris.
Yeah. And we're the Midnight Babes.
Woo.
Try not to like fuck you up on your holiday,
I
like
know. Thank you. Every fucking time.
not
I was
every time.
not every time, but I was prepared. I was waiting for it.
The one time you're like ready for me to mix it
Yeah.
up. God damn
You're
it.
just gonna get me the next time and be like, fuck you.
You lady. So we watched the Terrifier series. Now, Chris, I know you watched one and two before the third one came
Yeah.
out, right?
Hmm.
I had not. I've mentioned this before. I have a severe fear of clowns. I just don't like them. Okay, I just don't.
Yep.
So this movie has just been off my radar. Like even when the second one came out, though, they did such a good job with their marketing. I was
Mhm.
like, I kind of want to see it. But then I was like,
The clowns.
that's fucking crazy. Like, I don't know. The third one, their marketing was fucking phenomenal as well, to the
Yep.
point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch all of them. And you were very much like, go girl.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really funny. I just messaged you like one Sunday morning, and I'm like, I'm watching Terrifier. And you're just there for all the reacts. I mean,
Blow it
I
up.
didn't no heads up. I was just like watching Terrifier and then my one like thought I want to get out before we start is like in two and three, like I feel like social media did a good job at like almost overhyping them, being
Hmm.
like, oh, I'm throwing up in theaters. Oh, I had to like walk out. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." Okay, did you not know what you were fucking watching?
See, every time that those are like posted, I'm
Yeah,
always like, okay, but after like, I guess people can have weak stomachs. Something can
for
just like
sure.
trigger it.
There
I
are
can't
some
read that
scenes that
well.
made me, ooh,
Yeah.
but like I knew going into the movie
Hmm.
that they are extreme horror, like
Yep.
that it's extreme horror. Like,
Like, I get that people like to go in as well and just be completely blindsided. Like, they don't look at fully what the movie's about, like how you don't look at the blurbs
yep,
beforehand
or
or
I
like the
don't like
trailers.
watch trailers. Yep.
So, like, I get it, but at the same time, it's a horror movie.
Yes.
Like, gonna be
Based off,
gruesome.
yeah, based off their marketing, you're aware of what you're
Yes.
getting yourself into. That's kind of why I was like, why are people so like about it?
Yeah.
But watching the first one, I thought it was a blast.
Yeah.
Uh,
I told you, Art the Clown is just sassy. He's a sassy motherfucker, and
I
I love
mean,
him.
he is sassy. And so like once he starts like showing that through his like facial expressions and
Mhm.
like all of the nonverbal cues he gives, I told you I'd go from like ah to like like really quickly and be like,
Yes.
oh, that's funny. And then I'd be like, I don't like it.
Yep.
That goes to show like what is Art's real name? David
Howard Thornton.
Howard Thornton, how great his acting is, and then how great the writing from Damien Leone
Yeah.
is. Um, I really like the first one, even though it was older, I was still like, this is
It,
great.
it sets the scene. Like, so
Yeah,
you know what's to come, and they just keep getting better.
because you like saw, I was like, girl, I got questions. Like
Yeah.
I finished the first movie and I have more questions than when I started the movie. And you were like, well, I could send you info, but like just go watch the second one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Second one. I thought was also great. It may actually be my favorite of the three.
Mm,
Um,
it's good.
I couldn't tell you why, but I think it's more of like they started to align this like good versus evil,
Yep.
and they start to like give you a bit more information about what's going on, but not like full spectrum. So I was still like, who is this bitch? Who is her dad? What is the
Mhm.
magic costume? I was like, what? And then I was like, why is this creepy little doll girl like alive now?
Yeah.
Like, was that the baby doll from the first movie?
Yeah, it's
Like, I have a question.
yeah, and like always with the little girl as well. I always thought that it was like another part of him.
Which I
Feel
could,
like when it like
yes,
when he
like an
dies in
ex
the first movie, like I said, like he was a normal dude.
just a
Just a psychopath, serial killer, normal dude. He knew that he was going to die when he, like himself. Like he was not expecting to come back. And then of course he did. Well, because what my interpretation of it and like from what others I've read on Reddit and the other forums is that he was so evil that he was reincarnated
the
and like
devil essentially decided to reincarnate him to keep that evil and that fear.
exactly. That's what I was getting with it. Now, like for anybody else who has more information, like let
Let
us
us know.
know because
Yeah.
like this is all what I could find, and I know there's not like a whole bunch. I know I need to go and watch like actual interviews
Yes.
from Damien, but like haven't gotten around to it. um, so that was my thought, and then like that is
Which
another
makes
extension of
sense to
him.
me. Yeah, it makes sense. So like he kills himself and we're like, how did you come back? I agree with like the devil was like, you be doing some work. I'm gonna send you back up. Good job, buddy. And then like that emotion he had with like the cat lady that had like the
Hmm.
little baby doll in the first one, and the way he kind of like calmed down around her and like just wanted to like hold the baby. Part of me wonders if he like connected to the doll, like
Hmm.
mentally, like as like a parent would with like a child,
Yeah.
and then it turned into like a figment of his imagination.
Yeah, but like
Like it like
also,
literally like split his personalities.
yeah, and
Like
like but then she's still able to come around and like grab his head at the end of
yes, and
the
she's
second
doing
one.
her own thing and he's just like
And the fact that oh God, what's the brother's name? Joseph?
the girl's brother.
Yeah,
John, isn't it like Jonathan?
Jonathan. But like Jonathan was seeing both Art and the little girl. So
Right.
it's like that's why I feel like yes, it's not like so much a part of his imagination, but like an extension of
Mention of
him that
himself.
can be sprinkled,
Yeah.
for if
I would love a clear cut
I
answer on
know. I
it
don't
though. I
think we're
mean,
gonna
like
get one.
they could, but like we might not ever get a clear cut answer on that. And like that's okay with me, but like my brain just keeps going back to like, where did you come from?
Hmm. So like fully breaking down like so the first one is, he's just the Miles County clown killer. Like that's just how he is, normal
And
person.
they start it with the end of the movie, which
Yeah.
I was confused about until I got to the end and I was like, oh,
It's a
okay.
total was it not is it Quentin Tarantino where he likes to do that?
I bel
Was it him or is it another director? One
he
of them. You know
and
what I'm talking about where like they show like
yeah,
the end of the
I feel
film.
like M. Night Shyamalan's like another one that it does that from time to time,
Right.
but like
Yeah.
not always. But yes, I know what you're saying, where they like start the movie with XYZ, and then you essentially go back in time without telling you, and then they wrap you back to the beginning.
Yes. Yeah. So like the first one is like all about him doing his murder crazy things, and then he like dies, but obviously he comes back. Second one, now he's is more of like a supernatural type of being.
And he's kind of like aware of it at this
Yes.
point. I mean,
And then terrorizes this girl and her brother,
brother,
but it also has to do with her father because like
which
father
we
was
don't
seeing
know
him.
who he is in the second movie, so you're like,
Yeah. But like father created this like Valkyrie character and that's who she is like embodying. And so I
yeah,
don't know, she's having to like run because Art is just going after him and like killing
heart.
like, the family and the friends. Yeah, exactly. Third one
Uh,
is that
but it's like
combination
he's
of like
almost like on a mission for her. It's like he knows she
Yes.
has the ability to stop him.
Yeah.
And it's like he's like following her before he even starts, and we've talked about it. It's like our favorite scene in the second one where he's at the Halloween store
Yeah.
putting on the glasses. Like, dude, that whole scene like had me laughing. And then he like goes up to the counter, right? And he's like, and
Lord.
he's like, I'm gonna buy this, basically. Like, and
I
he
want
pulls
the
out his big old bag of weapons, and I'm like, oh Lord, Art, here we go. But he's like hunting her,
yeah.
essentially, and like terrorizing her. But it was interesting that she's like, I'm gonna dress up as like this costume that dad drew for Halloween. And she ends up finding out that she's going to need this costume in the
More importantly, the blade.
yes, to be able to do this. And it's funny because it's just like trial by error.
Yes. So for the third movie, that is a 5 year gap.
Yes, and they
So
make it pretty clear.
yes. Yeah. And she's starting to heal, all this other stuff
She
that obviously things.
obviously doesn't succeed.
No, no. Now
Her
she's
and
with
Jonathan
her.
don't succeed in taking art,
No.
which like it looks like it. And so like the end of two was fine because like
But it totally leads off to like what's gonna happen because her niece like gets yeeted into like the pits and like is it the pits of hell? Like and then
yeah,
she's like,
that's
what?
how I interpreted it is
Yeah.
the pits of hell. Like,
Yep.
uh-oh, that's bad news. But yeah, so like you're saying for the third one, it is 5 years later. And
Yeah.
like you could like she's coming out of the hospital, she's still a little fragile. I would be too.
Oh hell yeah.
I'm
Hell
surprised
yeah.
you made it. I would have been a weaker soul. I would have been like, I am out.
Like I'd be in crazy land.
I'll stay here in Grippy Socktown.
Yep, cool,
Don't worry,
thanks.
get me. Like
But it
I
goes to
will
show like how long he had to wait to like one be like reincarnated from fucking Vicky there. Vicky, right? Yeah.
yeah, Vicky.
Yeah, like and her crazy ass. I loved seeing that. Though there was one scene in three where I was like, ooh, I don't like this.
Which one was it for you?
Her in the glass, like fucking like in herself, like ugh.
The,
I was
my
not a
scene
fan.
was
But
the tube.
oh,
That was
with the
it for
rats.
me. Yeah, I was like, ah,
And then he like slices her up and it's like coming out. I was like, damn, that was hardcore. I think mine is always like if you're that so far gone where you're taking a piece of glass and like masturbating yourself with it. But I just love the look of art being like, why?
and then it's kind of like whatever.
Okay.
Like I'm
Like
gonna let that
I think
crazy
that's
bitch
what
be
made it like
crazy.
better for me. And I was just laughing because that whole scene, I'm just like, ew, I don't like the mutilation of downstairs. Thank you. Like it's just not my jam. But then
No,
it pans to Art and he's like cutting, still killing the guy. And he's
just
like,
he's
okay,
a crazy
psycho.
bitch. Like he's so good at
His
like the
facial expression.
nonverbal cues. Like you
Yes.
can read on his face what he like wants to say. And it's like,
In three,
you
that like
fucking
I said,
crazy bitch. And it's like, do what you gotta do.
yep.
Like you ain't my problem.
Exactly. Exactly. I just in that other one where uh he's overhearing the roommate, talking to the girlfriend and how he's like, "Oh, do you want this? Like, do you want to fuck him or something?" Because like she has the podcast, obsessed with how all this is playing out, and he's sitting there like, "Oh,
Oh,
me,
like me?
me?
Like
Oh, you want this dick? Oh." And then like, oh, like his facial expressions, David is so great at them, especially because he really doesn't. I've seen how they put on the
his
the mask and everything,
prosthetics,
the
yeah.
prosthetics, and it's like they have it down pat. Like it is good, and I think like the latex and everything that they use, it's
Yes.
thinner, so like you really get those
His
expressions.
was like, I mean, even when he like raises his eyebrows, like
So
it's
good.
very drastic. Like even like a
Mhm.
is like very, very dramatic for him, but
Yeah,
we kind of need that when he doesn't ever speak.
I will. Yes,
Which
yeah.
part of me wants him to speak, and another part of me is like, he doesn't need
He
to.
does not need to.
So like that's fine with me.
Yeah, He does not need
Um,
to. What were let's say I'm trying to remember like all the deaths of just Terrifier. I was gonna say, what's like the best like gruesome like scene from each movie that you've liked?
okay. All right, I got this. So one, the boyfriend's fucking limbs, dude. The
Right.
that had me fucked up. I was like,
Yep.
which side note, I read a John Athan book. I just finished it called Are Your Parents Home? And it's about this crazy dude who breaks in and is like killing all the kids in the house. And he does that whole like take the limbs and shit and like written description, disgusting. It was equally as horrifying as like watching it.
Oh, I love that.
So like would suggest
What's your jest if you like
um,
that?
but also there is mutilation of a downstairs situation. So like beware of that as well. But yeah, the arms was
That
probably
was
my
that was a good one. That's
favorite.
one of my favorites too.
From the second, I don't I don't know.
Bedroom scene.
Oh yeah, that when the mom comes in and he's
Yeah.
just sitting there
He's just
playing
sitting playing in their guts.
in the guts and blood, I was like,
But
oh,
like
again,
that whole scene of like breaking her arms or whatever, and then like scalping her, and then like the face, and then like cutting her all up and everything. Like it was
yeah,
intense. And I know that a lot of people say that that one was the most like gruesome scene of two. And I'm
okay,
trying to think, and I'm like, yeah. The only other part, like I can see that. Okay, not gonna lie, was making me giggle is when they were outside, and they're waiting for her to come back to try and get Jonathan from the carnival or whatever.
yes,
And Buddy's like, I have to pee. Goes out there and he just like, meh, dick.
bye,
And then of course she gets like in that bathroom stall scene with her, the
yes,
acid thrown on and everything. I'm like, I thought that was really great, but to me
they did a really great job.
it doesn't compare to the bedroom scene.
No, and my favorite scene in the third movie, and it's like the beginning scene because the third is set during Christmas,
Yeah.
right?
So
So
it's now a Christmas movie.
So he's like talking to the Santa Claus, and after he like steals his outfit and fucking pulverizes his face off, he's like walking out of the bar and he stops. He looks at the snowman. He's like, I got an idea. Takes the snowman's nose, goes back inside, just onto the dude's face where his nose should be. And he like looks so pleased with himself. Like, that'll do. I did a great job. And like that one, I just laughed. I was like, I
Oh yeah.
don't like that's just fucked up funny. Like,
Yes, yes, and there's so many scenes like that too, where it's how he reacts afterwards that just has
yes,
like in the beginning, he murders the family in the home, right? Goes downstairs and eats the fucking cookies and then washes the
the milk.
dishes.
Yeah. I'm like, sir, you just did the whole family in.
Yeah,
Like, so speaking of doing the whole family in, I actually came across a TikTok last night, and I can't remember if it's Damien Leone's line. Yes, no, it was. He was like talking about how he doesn't make these movies just for shock value.
yeah,
And that there like is a line that he has and he will not kill children on screen.
no,
So like in the third you like hear it happen. It's
yeah.
clear that it's
You see the
happening.
kid's arm.
Yeah, but he doesn't show it. And so I thought that that was interesting that he's like when I show these things for like shock value, like but there's like a line that I'm
Yeah,
writing. I was like, okay, like at least he's like conscientious of what he's doing.
yeah.
And then like coming off of that, I almost expected these just to be like gore the whole
But
time.
there's actually story to them.
Yes, there's a really good balance of like storyline and gore. It's almost like a balance similar to Scream.
Yeah.
In my mind, like half the time you're like, what the fuck's going on? And the other half you're like, oh my God.
God, yeah, yeah.
So I thought they were really good. You
I
said there's
did
a
too.
fourth coming?
Yes, there's gonna be a fourth. I'm trying to think in three. Yeah, like I was thinking about the kid. So yeah, there was the arm, and of course, like when he's eating the cookies and stuff, like
Yes.
she makes a sound, like obviously he finds her. You know what happens because you hear the noises. You know, she's like the squishy
The
murder noises.
squishy, squishy,
And then of course
squishies.
him like blowing up the mall,
Bro,
all those kids, and then
that was
like you can see the
wild.
explosion. I was like, oh shit.
I didn't see that coming. I was like, wow, good
No,
for you guys, because I didn't anticipate that at all.
no. And I think the only other scene, no, not with like a kid. Um, but no, the only other like gruesome scene was with the couple in like the campus showers, and then he
Oh,
gets the chainsaw up the butt.
yeah.
Hilarious to me.
Yeah. Well, and like in the first one, he's got girlfriend's legs. He's got her like tied
That's
up
what it
her
was.
leg,
Yes.
and
And then
she's
just
naked, and he just starts in the hoo-ha and like
right
all
in
the
front of
way
her.
down. I mean, I giggled
Oh
during
yeah.
that because I was like, my smut brain went to like, oh, I've read about this.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, but not actually
Oh, and
cutting
then I
in
was like,
half.
oh yeah, that's right. He's just a crazy murderer. He ain't trying to fuck.
No, he
And the
literally
whole
wants
time
to
he's
rip you limb from
talking,
limb.
I was like, oh, going after.
Yes. Um,
So I did want to look at like the synopsis of the end of three,
hmm,
because yes, you were correct that like after Sienna decapitates Victoria, she disintegrates.
yeah.
Art attacks Sienna with the chainsaw but gains the upper hand, and Victoria's blood burns through the floor and creates a portal to hell.
Yeah, because
Gabby falls
she
in,
is
like,
connected to art.
yep, her cousin or whatever,
Yep.
and holds on to the end, and Sienna leaves Art behind to save her, but Gabby falls into the abyss with the sword.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how's it end. So it's like we know that like it's got to come back to get the sword in the fourth one, or Art's gonna take the sword and be like, haha, fuck y'all.
Yeah, only because then he gets on the bus
Yes,
and he just
like he
sits
gets
there.
on the bus and basically like
Gets
leave.
torn.
And then Sienna is like healing and she's like, I'm gonna save you, Gabby.
Yep.
And you're like,
But I love that his eyes glowed while he was on the bus of like, now I'm getting pissy. That's like that was how like, I don't know if it was more of like, yeah, I have
no,
to get my powers or whatever. To
I
me,
think it was I'm fucking mad.
yeah, now I'm
Like
mad.
I've tried this shit 3 times now. Okay.
I'm
Tried to take this
pissed.
girl Sierra out 3 times. Okay, I've taken out a lot of other people in the process, but not you, girlfriend. I'm
Not
angry.
you. I loved I did watch one interview, like snippets or whatever with Damien, and he said he would love to have art in space. Like pulling a total like Jason X.
Interesting.
Have you ever
I've
how
never seen
many
Jason
Friday the
X.
13th did you watch?
Like two.
Okay. Jason X literally in space. It's
How does he wield his
hilarious. It's
weapon?
not scary at all. It is just so funny.
All right, all right. Well, maybe I'll have to like
I'm
get
like,
on.
art needs to be in space.
Maybe I'll watch from Friday the 13th today because it's Halloween.
Mhm.
I'll
I
have
always
to.
like the remake.
Yeah, and that's the one that I've seen
Yeah.
is like the remake, and then the one with Jamie Lee Curtis when she like comes back. Is that the remake?
No, that's Halloween, babes. That's not Friday the 13th.
Don't come at me. Just clip this out. Just Tara never said that. I need you to like put together like an actual chart for me of
Yeah.
these are like main horror movies and like universes and like break down Halloween,
Well,
break
I
down
will
Friday the
say
13th. Like,
Friday the 13th, the very first one. Who do you think is the killer of the very first movie?
oh, I have no fucking idea.
A lot of people will say it's Jason. Incorrect. It's Jason's mother. Because Jason died, she's getting the revenge on the.
Did you hear the thunder?
I got it over here.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh.
Spooky. But it's Jason's mom because she's the one that goes and murders all of the counselors for letting her son die. But then Jason like gets like comes back and like at the end. And then it
Okay.
progresses for the rest of the movies. So whenever people are like, "Oh, it was Jason," I'm like, "Lies."
With his mom.
It was his
All right, well, I'm
mom.
gonna have to like pull up like the best order to watch them in to like make the best sense because I know they boobity bop bop ski
Oh
bop
yeah.
around and have like one-offs and shit, and it's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was Terrifier. I mean, overall, I really liked it considering I hate fucking clowns.
I
So,
I like spooky scary clowns. When they're the happy go lucky like random circus clowns, fuck you.
I
You're
mean,
too
I hate them
happy.
all. I hate them all, but art's got a place in my heart just for the
You love a fucking
in the
horn.
glasses, like.
He's so
And for his
sassy.
TikToks doing the dirty dances in like full uniform and like, that
Hilarious.
just makes me want to be like, oh, you're so cute, even though I know
Right?
better. I know better.
I know better, but
And then for November, since we're getting close to end, we did read the Saber Security
I
series.
haven't
Is that
finished.
is that what the name of it is?
Saber security, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's by Jay Rose also, and it ties into Blackwood Institute.
Hmm.
Because we didn't know it was a little universe. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
So Blackwood Institute we covered, and then we'll do the Saber Security, and then the third like series to the universe is Briar Valley, I think.
Hmm.
And then we'll review those once we get them read.
Yep,
But then I have like a couple books for Christina to read, like Incidents Around the
getting there.
House. And we want to cover like Leather and Lark, Butcher and
Hmm.
Blackbird before the third book comes
And then
out.
we'll come back with more like, I don't know. I'm gonna try and find Thanksgiving 2. And then we'll have more like, I don't know, there's got to be more spooky shit for Christmas coming around. There always is.
Yep,
But
we
we'll
should.
definitely have more books because I know we hit a lot of spooky shit just because of the con and then
We
everything
did.
leading up. So now we're
Yeah.
kind of reverting over. So
Yep.
yay.
So we'll be coming back. Spooky books, spooky movies. I'm gonna
Mhm.
rent Swallowed on Amazon for
Yeah.
us. Watch that during Halloween time, and
Yeah.
then we can review it too. So,
Hell yeah.
hell yeah. On that note,
Yeah. Happy
happy Halloween.
Halloween. Go have fun. Be safe,
Yeah, be safe.
please.
It'd be wild in lately.
It
You
really do.
not
So be
Halloween or
safe,
something.
have fun, and we'll
Check
see
your kids'
you next
candy. Eat your kids' candy if you got kids. Eat
parent
it.
tax.
Parent tax, take it. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to see more from us, you can find us on Instagram at the Midnight Babes Podcast and on TikTok at the Midnight Babes. Stay spooky, friends.